So again, if I just talk from a work perspective,
Mm,
um, it is really because we do have a lot of things and we do have to make really important decisions. So it does get overwhelming sometimes.
mm,
But what helps me is I take it day by day.
mm,
If you are at work, you're 8 to 5, that's the time, and you work with that time and you
mm.
try and focus on that. And again, when I go out and I can just be myself, my Burnley self, watching Netflix, and I focus on actually doing that because
Stunning.
that's me time.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Spreadsheet. My name is Rodilio Lewis, and this is a podcast brought to you by ICAN to give you an idea of the people behind the accounting profession. Now, each episode features members who share their personal and their professional journeys with us, highlighting the human side of the accounting world. This season, of course, we'll be focusing specifically on the audit profession, aiming to showcase exactly what its purpose is and the depth and the opportunities that exist for young people out there. The goal is to inspire current and future professionals to see auditing not just as a technical field, but also as a meaningful and rewarding career. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Spreadsheet with me, Rodilio Lewis, powered by ICAN. Today we're joined by Bernale to tell us a little bit about her journey, both locally and internationally in the field. Welcome, Bernale. How are you doing, Bernale?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm very happy to have you in the space with us and to just chat with us a little bit. And I'm living for the yin and yang energy that we've got going on here, a little black and white, because sometimes it is black and white.
It is definitely black and white.
But on that note, can you give us like the black and white understanding of what it means to be an auditor and how your journey started?
So my journey actually started when I was in grade 10.
Stunning.
So I really decided at a very young age what I wanted to do. I also come actually from a family of auditors because my dad's a retired internal auditor.
Stunning.
And I think that really helped me with, especially with my maths homework and my accounting homework. I always had that parent that would actually be able to help me.
Mm,
So that was really beneficial for me. And that's really how my journey started. And then yeah, that's basically how it started for me. And
mm,
obviously, going into university, I wasn't initially sure that I would go directly into chartered accountancy. I
mm.
was actually going to do just a BCom in financial accounting. But then I ended up transitioning because I got good marks. So that allowed me to get entrance into the
Mm.
CA route. So that's how my journey started.
I love that. I love that. And your journey is quite an interesting journey because you didn't just stay locally. You actually went internationally. So you've had some exposure on the international market within the field. And obviously that's come with some benefits and some interesting nuggets of knowledge. How do you feel or how do you think it's shaped you as a professional?
Well, I definitely think it really helped. For me, when I made the decision to go overseas, it was more in terms of exposure.
Mm,
My end goal was always to come back to Namibia.
beautiful.
So I obviously went abroad for about 3 years and
Mm,
I was in London. And it really, the type of clients that you worked on and the experience you gained, because normally we have this really technical knowledge and
mm,
the standards that we have to adhere to. But in going there, because of the dynamics and the client base,
mm,
you actually you get to see what it actually means in practice and how you actually audit that.
mm,
So I feel that really helped me in the knowledge that I gained in terms of the client base. It's
mm,
not just, for example, in Namibia, I was mostly based in mining, whereas in that area, I
mm.
was in different type of real estate and manufacturing, and we had like cross-border transactions. So it's
Interesting.
really in terms of my career growth and what I learned there. It was really I can't actually put a price on what I actually learned there.
Beautiful. And I think what's also interesting is like you really build like a deep understanding of each one of those industries and it
Exactly.
exposes you to a whole wealth of new opportunities, experiences, people. And I think that's, like you're saying, it's priceless. You
It's
can't put a price
priceless.
tag on that. I
Exactly.
love that. That's beautiful. Now, obviously, you've got some great lessons that you learned while you were there, but in your opinion, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned while you were working in the UK as an auditor?
So when I joined and went abroad, I actually went just after COVID. So it was still very into lockdown, and we were
Ah,
all still just working behind screens and stuff. And when we eventually went back to the office, one thing that was really important for me is the collaboration. And also because obviously coming from Namibia and going there, like there's a big cultural difference. So actually putting yourself out there and not just in audit, we are known for being technical and just staying behind the books and just staying and working in that way, but it's actually not like that. So the biggest takeaway for me, what I learned when I was there, is the collaborative aspect of our role and how important that is, because you don't just contact or speak to your clients and your team. In this case, you have to speak to like tax experts, you have to speak to evaluation specialists, and not just on an outside scale, but also internally, because the firms are so big there compared to ours this side. So taking all of that and collaborating, that really is a skill that I feel like I learned, and obviously taking it further on my journey.
I love that. Just building that network of family in this space, and I mean, it comes from the family, so it just makes sense to make more family.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how has your transition from external auditing to your current role in investigations and regulation changed your perspective of the profession?
I wouldn't say it's actually changed my perspective, but I would say it's actually opened my eyes more. So, in an external audit, we have these ethical standards that we have to abide by, and also the technical standards. But being in a regulatory environment, I actually see the importance of that and the importance it plays in our profession. So, I wouldn't say it's actually changed my perspective, but it's rather just opened my eyes to see how important that aspect really is.
Now, obviously, you spent some time while you were abroad, and we do understand that technologically they're much more advanced than we are, and we're catching up quickly as possible. But there is a big understanding that we are in the technological revolution. How do you see that influencing the work that you do, and do you find it important to include it now already, or is it something we should disregard?
No, I would definitely say it's something that we actually need to work on, especially coming from that type of background. They are so advanced. Even the type of audit work we do there, they use these AI tools that's incorporated in our audit work. It's really important for us to also be able to upskill ourselves so that and train ourselves so that we can also catch up and be on that international standard. And it's not even just on an AI scale of things. If we look at our standards and how that evolves, if we just look at the sustainability stuff that's also coming up, that's also, they are way advanced in that, and they already audit the way they do the stuff there, whereas we are still catching up. So in that sense, I would definitely say we always need to work on upskilling ourselves, attending the trainings, because that's really important, because if we don't do that, we will actually get left behind.
And no one wants to be left behind. No one wants FOMO,
Yeah.
especially not in the accounting world.
Exactly.
Now, when we look at all of this, what do you believe is the role of ethics and compliance in maintaining trust within the profession?
So it's really important, because without trust, how can people actually invest their money?
Yes.
So it's really important that there has to be that compliance and regulation. And if people actually do not comply, there needs to be held accountable.
Yes.
Because our profession is of such a nature that we work with other people's money, and we give an opinion on that. And we have really strict ethical requirements that we have to adhere to. So if that's not done, then where would people actually invest their money, or how would they actually be comfortable investing their money? So it's really important.
Love that. Now, how do you see the audit landscape evolving, especially with the increased focus on accountability and transparency?
So we actually have to ask ourselves the question, why is there that increased focus in transparency and accountability? Again, it takes me back to the question where, what is our role? We have to protect the public interest, and we actually need to look at it from both a local perspective as well as an international perspective. So how I see that actually evolving is, again, just going back to our standards and our regulation, it's probably going to increase. And because the reason why it's increasing is because people are actually not adhering sometimes to those standards. So I do believe that if people are not actually held accountable, this will increase further and further. So I think it's definitely really important that we have to look at that and assess where we are and what we are doing and how important that is actually in our role.
And what kind of findings could we like find from like this kind of increased focus? What kind of data or research would come out of it?
Um, in the sense, because we are the regulator, we sometimes, if people are found guilty, we actually do inform the public of that. We actually do like newspaper articles and say, okay, this is the misconduct that happened, and this is what you're guilty of. Of course, there are different processes in place why they get to that end result. So yes, we definitely inform the public in that space. And also, again, with that, we also collaborate with other regulators, both locally and internationally. And we also use that knowledge, again, with other regulators to inform the public of that.
I love that. Now, throughout everything, apart from being able to have traveled to the UK and living there for a good 3 years, even though it was during lockdown season, what is the most rewarding thing about this career for you?
I think the most rewarding thing for it is the impact that you have. And in this career space, it's not just about us crunching the numbers. We actually really play an important role, not just in society, but also in our economy as a whole. So it's really important in that sense. And I feel like that's really a rewarding space to be in, because it's almost like your word and your opinion really counts.
And it matters, and it really changes lives.
It
And
does.
to know that you have an impact on other people's lives in a positive way, in a growth way, it's really it's fulfilling. It's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Now, obviously, when a person gets to travel, when a person gets to work with a lot of money, when a person's bank account starts smiling, there's a lot of things that happens where you feel like you can float away. How do you stay grounded in who you are as a person and you don't get lost within the work of it all?
So again, if I just talk from a work perspective, um, it is really, because we do have a lot of things and we do have to make really important decisions. So it does get overwhelming sometimes. But what helps me is I take it day by day. If you are at work, you're 8 to 5, that's the time, and you work with that time and you try and focus on that. And again, when I go out and I can just be myself, my Burnley self, watching Netflix, and I focus on actually doing that because that's me time. So having that balance is really important, and that's how I stay grounded. Also, what helps me especially is my family. I'm quite family orientated, so
Beautiful.
I really love spending time with my family, especially if I do feel overwhelmed. They're just a call away. And also my partner. I have a
That's
really
beautiful.
supportive partner.
I love how you said that one. The family was like was a nice one, and you're like, my partner. The lighting on you makes sense today. Now, before I let you go, I've got two more questions, and I'll ask the fun question before the last serious question. The fun question is, of course, if you had to describe the journey from start up until now. We're looking at Bernale in grade 10, who said, I figured it out. My daddy doen it, so ek gaan dit ook aanvat. What would you say in all of that? The process from there to where we are today. We've done the UK, we're back home. Describe it for me in 3 emojis and then tell me why those 3.
3 emojis. A money sign.
Come on now. Where the money reside, where the money reside.
Yes. A hug one, because it's for me, my family again. Because even after traveling, they were quite still a really important part in my life, even when I was still far away from them. And then a last one I would say is a party emoji. Because
Really?
yes, in my whole career journey, I still made time to also still enjoy myself.
I
For me,
love
it's really
that.
important that people don't, because people have this misperception that accountants are these boring people. They
Yes.
really do. But I also would say that that is a part of my life. That's who I am. And in my career journey, after now coming back, I still had a bit of fun in between.
Beautiful. No, it's so important. And you have beautiful hair. You should have shaken it around. You can't just shake it in the office and be there like, ugh, these numbers aren't working. Now, my final question, of course, just to wrap us all up, and for any of our people that are listening or watching right now, what is a piece of advice you would give them wrapping up what auditing is all about? Just like if you put it on a desk and you said, this is what auditing is all about, you should do it. What does that piece of advice look like?
It's always knowing what you are actually supposed to do.
Mm,
So I always go with the saying that there's no dumb question. Always ask a question if you're not sure.
mm,
Because in our auditing profession, there is that level of hierarchy where you can actually go and ask questions to your superiors
mm,
to make an informed decision. So that's a really important thing of this whole auditing
mm,
profession, is not saying something when you're not sure.
mm. I love that. Other than that, all I can say is, Bernale, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a young spirit within the space. Thank you for being a young woman in the space and showing that you can have it all. You can balance the family life, you can balance the love life, but you can also balance the balance sheets. And it all, at the end, it will all just work out. So, congratulations on everything and just keep pushing and keep going upward. And from everyone here at Beyond the Spreadsheet, thank you so much for taking some time out to come sit down and chat with us.
Thank you so much.
As of course, Bernale, wrapping up our episode for today's Beyond the Spreadsheet, proudly brought to you by ICAN. My name is Rodelio Lewis, and I'll catch you guys again very soon.